It is May the 6th, 2002. It is 5:30 in the morning, and I'm at Corby for this year's Pole Fair. The Corby Pole Fair is a tradition which dates back long before living memory. It's held on a Whit Monday, once every 20 years. The bells of the old parish church chime from 5 in the morning to waken the inhabitants for the festivities of the day, and at 6 a.m. all roads into Corby Old Village are sealed by these barricades. No vehicles may enter the area after this time, and all foot travellers must pay a toll in the form of the coin of the realm, namely £1, to enter the village. The penalty for not doing so is imprisonment in the stocks. One of the most unusual traditions of the Pole Fair is that the oldest living resident known to be born in the village, the rector of the church, and the chairman of the council or mayor are carried around in chairs mounted on poles. The Pole Fair is thought to date back to 1585, when Queen Elizabeth I granted a charter to the villagers of Corby, giving them 6 very important rights, which was seen as a great boon to a rural community. The charter is traditionally read 3 times at 3 different locations in the village, starting at the unearthly hour of 6 a.m. beside the church of St. John the Baptist.
Greeting! We have inspected the enrolment of certain letters patent of confirmation of our predecessor, Elizabeth, late Queen of England, bearing date in the 27th year of her reign, made and granted to the men and tenants of the manor of Corby, and remaining on record in our court of chancery of these words. Greeting. Whereas, according to the custom hitherto obtained and used in our Kingdom of England, the men and tenants of ancient domain of the Crown of England are, and ought to be, quit of toll, tannage, muirage, and passage throughout the whole Kingdom of England.
Now that may not mean much to you, but nearly 420 years ago it was pretty important. It exempted villagers from paying pannage, a tax paid by local people for the right to feed their pigs on the acorns at Rockingham Forest.
God save the Queen! God save the Queen!
Nor did they have to pay muirage, money which had been paid towards the upkeep of walls around the estate of Rockingham Castle. The villagers of Corby were also given freedom of passage to travel throughout England without paying the tolls which are so frequently demanded, rather like modern-day airport taxes. And there's more, but we'll come to that later. Meanwhile, led by the Corby Pole Fair Queen and her attendants, the mayor, the rector, and the oldest native resident are carried to the White Hart, where the ceremony will be repeated. It's believed that fairs have been held in Corby since the year 1226, when King Henry III granted the village the right to hold a market and 2 annual fairs. Merchants from all around the country visited these and had to pay a toll to the lord of the manor for their attendance. If they refused to pay, they would find themselves confined to the stocks for the day, and it's thought that that's how the stocks came to be connected with the pole fairs.
Well, the punishment fits the crime, and I didn't pay my toll into the Pole Fair, so I'm in the stocks. The only problem now is that somebody else has to pay me out. So have you got any money? Has anybody got any money? No! Money, help me! It's raining!
Well, now we've got Chuck in the stocks, I think we might as well leave him there all day, don't you? Meanwhile, the mayor, eldest resident, and the rector arrive at the jam, following their refreshments at the White Hart, ready to read the charter once again. Incidentally, the custom of using chairs with poles is thought to date back to the time when the Danes settled in the area. It was their custom to make anybody who'd broken the law ride through the village lashed to a stang or pole, while the residents threw rotten vegetables and other such unsavoury objects at them. No missiles today, however, just the strains of the Corby Silver Band, as they prepare us for the 3rd and final reading of the Charter. And here's an interesting revelation for Corby residents.
The men and tenants of ancient domain of the Crown aforesaid have always hitherto, from the time of memory, runneth not to the contrary, been execution to the expense of the knights coming to our Parliament. Water in there somewhere. I'd like to join with Lil, the oldest resident. Thank you. We're in Corby Village with our Mayor and Chairman of the Council, Betty, and myself to thank those poor people who had to carry us through the school.
So the first to go into the stocks of the 2002 Pole Fair are the civic dignitaries. You may have noticed that the Corby stocks are unique and they have 5 leg holes. One theory is that most of the vagrants who were caught only had 1 leg, but it's more probable that 5 people at a time were imprisoned in the stocks by 1 leg each, even though this made the period of incarceration intimate, to say the least. In Victorian times, modesty forbade women to show their ankles, and up until 1902, the ladies were required to put their arm into the leg holes of the stocks in the interests of modesty and public decency. Haven't times changed in the last century?
Mike, it's the Pole Fair. You've opened it, you've read the charter. How are you feeling after all that?
First of all, it's got to be said, with the weather we've got today, wet. It was wonderful reading the charter, wonderful being here. I think the bit I'm going to remember is when the chair cracked. I was being carried on now, which was quite nice. It meant that they got one of the older 1982 chairs out, so it links it to previous Pole Fair.
Back and forth, this charter's, well, the Pole Fair, in fact, has been going for a very long time. 1585, I believe?
Yes, that's right. It was originally granted by Elizabeth I to the men and tenants of Corby. It was rescinded by Oliver Cromwell and then reinstated by King Charles II.
Excellent. Of course, it all kind of centralises around a pole.
It does, yes. Traditionally, the pole was used to carry the people on rather than chairs between the 3 points that the charter was read from.
So you wouldn't want it to have been carried on a pole today, though, would you, really?
No, I think I'd have slipped off it more than anything else,
But
yes.
you may have a chance to climb up it a bit later.
Yes, there is a greasy pole in the charter field, I'm sure you'll see it later on, with some meat on the very top of it, and the idea is to try and shin up that pole and get hold of the piece of meat.
I'm probably joined by the 3 most important ladies here today. Lillian, the oldest resident, Betty, the mayor, and Jackie, who's helped put all this together. So, Lillian, oldest resident, you're in the stocks. How are you feeling?
Very well, thank you.
Very good. Not a little wet, then?
Not too bad, thank you.
Excellent. Now, Betty, you live in the village. You're the mayor of Corby and its pole year. How are you feeling?
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic. You're looking very good in your finery today.
Thank you very much.
And, Jackie, you're all done up like somebody from the Middle Ages. I just said dog's dinner, it would be terribly rude of me. How are you feeling?
Absolutely great. My adrenaline is running, and it's got to keep going until 1 tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
I've been up since 4.
No, obviously the viewers won't know this. It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Are you going in for a quick beer now?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to the pub first.
Just to
get
warm your
warmed
cock up.
up, yes. And then down to the church.
Excellent. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope somebody pays you out the stocks. Unfortunately, it won't be me. Well, Corby Pole Fair only happens every 20 years. And to mark this special occasion, the pub's open at 6 o'clock. Let's go in for a swift one.
The only one with that idea. It had barely turned 7 a.m. and already the Cardigan Arms was heaving. Amongst its clientele, numbered civic dignitaries, beating off the chill of the cold, rainy Pole Fair morning, the young. the not quite so young, the completely bemused, and of course Chuck, rapidly working his way through a pint of Guinness.
Cheers! Well, it's 7:15 in the morning, and this is the first of probably one of many pubs I'm going to be visiting today. We're at Corby Pole Fair in Corby Village. We're at Corby Pole Fair, but be back after the break.
AM, and in a very wet and desolate looking OB caravan, we found Corby Radio's very own breakfast show presenter, Dave Irvin, making an excellent job of raising the spirits of his listeners on this dismal and drizzly morning.
It's Corby Radio 106.6 FM live at the Corby Pole Fair 2002. If you're sitting at home, get yourself down here. It may be wet, it may be miserable looking. It's going to be a fantastic day. Lots and lots going on. We are, in fact, Corby Radio right outside the Village Inn. We're in the front car park. So if you do have any requests or dedications, you have got to make your way down to us. We're not going to use the telephone lines today. We want to meet you in person. So please, make your way down to the Village Inn and come and see us.
And who could refuse an offer like that? Chuck decided to be the first guest on Corby Radio's breakfast show at the 2002 Pole Fair.
Hey, Sailor and girls. Well, I'm joined in the studio by Chuck from NTV.
I am. Thank you very much indeed, Dave. And we are being filmed at the moment by the cameraman, Andy, for Northants TV.
It's rather good, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Multimedia, this is.
Interactive.
Oh, most certainly. So, Dave, Corby Radio at the Pole Fair, how's it going?
So far, wet. This is the best thing we could tell you. Quite a crowd were there for the charter reading this morning. They've dispersed a little bit looking for shelter. But it's going to be a busy day, a lot of things going on. We've got the bungee jump happening in front of us later on today. Are you going to do that?
Probably not. A bit scared of heights, and I'm wearing glasses, and that means that I can't do anything strenuous at all, anything like that. But how's it going for Corby Radio?
Absolutely superb. Best ever broadcast, more listeners than we've ever had, more advertisers, more money coming in, obviously going to charity. So, yeah, very, very successful. A wider audience as well.
That's what the Pole Fair is generally all about. It's a big day for charities.
Always a big day for charities. All the money that they raise here today, once they've taken off, obviously, the expenses that they have, everything will go to local charities, yeah. A lot of money.
Excellent. So, hopefully for a few more people coming through the tolls later on today.
Did you pay your pound?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Andy paid it coming in.
Well,
yeah.
That's good.
It is a radio show. I think you better play some music, Dave.
Well, it'd be a good idea, actually.
But are they expecting a lot of visitors despite the weather?
We certainly are. It's as you can see, the weather's not great. It's damp. The wind's a bit cool. Most people are drifted away a bit now. People are going to get breakfast and organise themselves because it really starts at 10 o'clock now with all the events and things starting up. And we've been told the sun will come out later on, so we're hoping.
The pub's definitely benefiting from the weather. The Village Inn is packed with revellers enjoying a full English breakfast or simply keeping out of the rain.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm waiting for my breakfast, but whilst I'm in my second pub of the day, 8 o'clock in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Gavin Mills of Eclipse Performing Arts. Gavin, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, we're drinking lager.
Indeed.
Why are you here?
Because it's not often you get to go to a pub this early. And when you do, I think you've got to seize it with both hands. Sorry, both hands.
Your acting skills coming to the fore there. Talking of acting, Eclipse Performing Arts are always doing something in the Corby area. What's happening next?
We've got a show, When Children Rule the Stage, which is going on at the Willows Complex on the 24th to the 25th of May. Tickets are £5. It's a show with 16 and under, people that are 16 years and under. And it's just about them showing their talents on stage, basically. It's a cracking show, full of musical numbers and speeches about their time at Eclipse. It's an absolute belter show. It really is.
The biggest festival of the year is Copacabana, which will be happening in September.
Yes, indeed, yes. The end of September. It's the biggest show that Eclipse have put on. It's costed a lot of money, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic. The show in June is a cabaret show, and we're taking it to the people. We're going out, and we're going to a few venues around Corby, and we're going to say to people, well, come and see us. If you can't come see us at the theatre, then we'll take it to you, and we will show the theatre to you.
And talking of local societies, next we visited the church, where we found an exhibition of Corby's history, in particular the history of pole fairs, organised by the Corby Historical Society. But who are these splendidly dressed ladies?
Mary
Tudor,
Queen Elizabeth I,
Liz 1,
and Mary Queen of Scotland.
Mary the Queen of Scotland, mother of James I of England, James VI of Scotland. I know my history, especially in the Tudor period.
me beheaded at
She did in Fotheringhay after spending so much time in other areas around the country. So you're here today, you're having a good time. You're going to be on a coach very soon, wandering through the streets of Corby. Are you looking forward to that?
Yes.
Are you going to stay warm and not get too chilly?
No, we're out afterwards at the back of the White Hart, possibly that leaflet, at the back of the White Hart in Corby, and we are collecting for SAFA,
Right.
which is one of the Queen's chosen Jubilee charity
Oh, right.
this year, and we're collecting for them. We hope to get as much money as possible.
And that helps ex-servicemen.
Ex-servicemen and women and dependents.
The Pole Fair, of course, has a history almost as long as Corby Village itself, although the first documented Pole Fair was as recent as 1862. In those days, all of the dwellers of the village were carried on chairs and poles to be imprisoned in the stocks. None were exempt, not even the village policeman. While the band played lively airs, the captives were fed copious amounts of ale before being released from the stocks. It is said that many hundreds of visitors came from all around and happily paid their toll to witness this strange custom. Since that time, the only pole fair which could not be celebrated was in 1942, during the Second World War, although the chairman of the council, a Mr. Rowe, did read the charter to a large crowd at the usual points. Much is made of the ancient history of Corby Village at the Pole Fair, and a large crowd is gathering at Rowlet County Primary School for the next of our reenactments, which will take place in front of several guests of honour, including the Duke of Gloucester, the Lord Lieutenant for the County of Northamptonshire, and Corby MP Phil Hope, to name but a few. But what's it all about?
From the domain of Corby, we are proud to present before His Royal Personage the reenactment of the granting of the Charter to Corby that is celebrated this day in Pole Fair. By your leave, sir. My lord, ladies and gentlemen, good people all, welcome to this, our Charter Fair. Time to celebrate and give thanks for our Charter, royally given to the good folk of Corby.
But after the serious stuff, two slightly disrespectful medieval yokels find their way into the arena.
Who's that? That's Duke of Gloucester. Well, where's the Duchess? I thought we was getting double Gloucester. We're still a big cheese,
Well, I'm glad to see that the Duke is amused.
The pageant was good old-fashioned, what I've told the Duke of Gloucester, good old-fashioned rubbish. And if there's anything we can write, it's rubbish.
Absolutely. Absolutely rubbish. You do write a lot of stuff together because you are both members of CATS.
Yes.
Tell us about CATS.
Well, it's been going on in the town for about 40, this is our 40th year.
Yep.
During that time, we've done practically every single type of show that you can think of. A lot of them I write. I've just about got to the stage where I'm going to pass it all over to Richard and let him start and writing. But we write stuff that people at Corby find funny. And comedy mainly, but it's stuff that people at Corby find funny. And it's easier to make people laugh. And especially on a day like this when it's wet and it's cold and everything else. You really want to make people laugh. So that's what we went for.
Now it is May, and Rowlet School have erected a maypole, ready for their pupils to perform the traditional maypole dances.
Children in the school took part, starting from our youngest who are 4 up to our oldest who are 11, and we even had a mother dance because we were a charge short at the end.
Have you enjoyed it, and have the children enjoyed it?
It's gone well. It's a shame about the weather, but I think they've thoroughly enjoyed the day. Yeah. Children obviously learned the very basic dancing round and dancing back again, and then the older children weaved in and out to make a pole pattern, a barber's pole pattern, and then they unwove at the end to enable them obviously to go back to the standard maypole.
And to follow that, a tale of woe from a fair young maiden.
He told her marriage had grown a mere joke, and that no one wedded now but the scoundrel folk. Yet, my dear, thou shouldst prevail, though I know not what I ail. I shall dream of clogs and silly dogs with bottles on their tail. I shall buy thee gloves and a bohun grace to wear, and a pretty little ball to ride out and take the air. If thou ne'er wilt pitch and coo, and cry out it shall not do, I cannot, will not able to.
There are various theories as to how Corby came to be granted its charter, and our next act in the pageant tells one of the more fanciful tales. It is said that the Queen became lost in Rockingham Forest whilst on a visit to Sir Christopher Hatton, her Lord Chancellor, at Corby Hall. The wheels of her carriage became stuck in the mud when, to the rescue, came local villagers.
Hang on. How did you know it was the Queen of England?
Of course I knew it was the Queen. She was all posh and swanky looking, wasn't she?
Oh, carry on. What's going on then?
So they're all in the forest, and she goes, "Good yeoman, whatever am I going to do?" And I said, "Don't worry, Mum, I'll help you. So I got my lads, because she was stuck, she was. And I went right along, and she goes, "Where are you from then?" She said, "Where are you from?"
Yeah, what did you say then?
Well, I said, "Don't worry, Mum, I'll lead you to a place of safety, I will."
Let's get this straight here, right?
It's lovely. It brought tears to my eyes.
Right. The Queen of England is stuck in a forest in the mud, right? And she says to you, right, lead me to a place of safety.
She said, "Lead me to a place of safety."
And you brought her to Corby, right? Are you a complete Judah Nutter or what?
Oh, boy, it'd be lovely. But it doesn't matter anyway, right? She was over there, and I got the rope and put it round the carriage and pulled it through.
And whether that story be truth or legend, it is a fact that the next entertainer is one of Queen Elizabeth I's court jesters.
Stop laughing, I don't think anyone noticed.
And as if juggling 5 balls isn't enough, now let's try it with fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a lovely afternoon. My name's Richard. Thank you.
we were honoured by the presence of Her Gracious Majesty Queen Elizabeth I herself in a reenactment of the granting of the Charter.
We thank you, good people all. Good people of Corby, we give thanks. Now, Sir Christopher.
Good men and tenants of the ancient village of Corby, Her Most Gracious Majesty remembers the help and succour you gave to her in Rockingham Forest and is thankful. You have served Her Majesty and country well and true, and by this token, Her Majesty is sure that you will always be true to her and England, her blessed realm. In recognition of your aid, Her Majesty does today bestow on you this, her royal charter, to hold a fair each May Day, or thereof, each score year, and be free to do so as long as the good village of Corby shall endure.
So it is Pole Fair Day, and I'm joined by Elizabeth I, and I am gracious indeed, Your Majesty. How are you feeling today?
I'm very well, thank you. A little cold, but I'm fine, thank you.
Do look a little peaky, though apparently that's the makeup of the day.
It is, yes, very white-faced them. Yes.
So, what have been your distinct kind of activities for the day?
We've just been performing in the pageant, along with CAP, Corby Amateur Theatrical Society, who are doing the pageant for today, along with my good mate here. And then this afternoon we're in a procession through the village down to the Charter Field.
Excellent. Are you having a good day?
I'm having a very good day, yes.
Putting up with the weather?
Yeah, very English, though, isn't it?
It is very English, and apparently the very first Charter Fair was a bit like this also.
I wouldn't know.
I was there.
There we go.
No, I've read up on it already.
We thank you for this gracious gift. Long may you and your successors reign. God bless England, and God save the Queen.
God save the Queen!